What's up, Whippers? It's Vice here, and hey, I'm taking a look at this Primeape deck today. So this would be my second Pokemon TCG Pocket deck profile. If you want to see my previous one, be sure to check out the channel. But for now, we're going to look at Primeape. So Primeape is a Stage 1 fighting Pokemon, and it's got this cool attack, Fight Back, 2 fighting energy, 40 plus. If this Pokemon has damage on it, this attack does 60 more damage. So Fight Back can do upwards of 100 damage for just 2 energy. And when you look at the range of damage available to Stage 1 non-EX Pokemon, Fight Back is potentially quite strong amongst those. Stronger than even a bunch of like the flippy attacks out there that do like 40 and 40 or what have you, right? So Primeape is very appealing. You've got to satisfy the condition for the attack, and that's the way that they balance the damage output, right? You get a pretty good reward if you're able to facilitate the requirement on Fight Back. So up until recently, there wasn't really a great number of ways to facilitate the attack requirement out of Primeape. But what happened was we got the Lapras EX event with the promo packs, and amongst the cards that you can get out of that pack is Mankey. So this new Mankey has the attack Reckless Charge, and the attack does 30 damage for 1 fighting, so you can use it on the first turn that you can attach energy to this Pokemon, and the attack text says this Pokemon does 10 damage to itself. So normally, self-damage is a bit of a drawback, but when you combine it with the Fight Back requirement on Primeape, it ends up being quite an appealing attack. So with these two Pokemon together, you're looking to outpace and outdamage your opponent's board before they can even, collect themselves and put their strategy into motion. The deck hits quite quickly. It can do a lot of damage in a very short period of time, and it's got a great set of matchups. Being able to take down the likes of Pikachu EX, it can hang tough against water. You can even overcome Psychic with some lucky coin flips. It does, of course, see itself supported by the, I would say ever reliable, but an attack that relies on coin flips is anything but. So Marowak EX has been the premier Stage 1 fighting Pokemon in format so far. It's an EX, so you see the lovely 140 HP, and the attack for 2 fighting energy, just like Primeape. It says Boomerang 80 times, flip 2 coins, this attack does 80 damage for each head. So the attack damage on Marowak is quite appealing because you can take down lots of different threats, almost all of them really in format. Of note would be Mewtwo EX, which does get one-shot by a double heads coin flip on Boomerang. So, between Marowak and just the sheer speed of damage output from Mankey evolving into Primeape, you've got a strategy that, isn't as strong as the ultra late game of some decks out there, but aims to take opponents down before they can set up a very playable board. So I like Primeape. I was very excited to get my hands on the cards and try it out, and it has been quite effective. If we can have a look at the rest of the list very briefly, we've got Potion for healing, of course, X-Speed in order to maneuver the Mankey into the active position as quick as possible. Pokeball here, not only to get your Pokemon into play, but to thin the deck as well, improve the odds of top decking the cards that you need. Red card, great for disruption, try and stop your opponent from mounting any kind of counterplay. You got Professor's Research for draw. Giovanni is quite good. I'll touch on Giovanni in just a moment. And then Sabrina is great in this type of deck to help you conclude games and stop your opponent from trying to wall out your Pokemon. Not that they're able to do that very effectively when you've got Primeape swinging for 100 damage, every turn. But yes, Sabrina is very good at concluding games with the disruption effect that it has, forcing your opponent to promote a Pokemon that they don't want to have in the active spot. Just to touch on Giovanni for a moment, the great thing about Giovanni is that it turns your Mankey into Primeape combo from 30 damage plus 100 damage, so 130, it makes it become 140 damage over the course of those 2 turns, and 140 is quite good due to the existence of Articuno and Moltres. Those Pokemon are pretty popular, and Giovanni allows you to cleanly 2-hit KO those Pokemon. Giovanni is also good with Marowak as well, being able to allow Marowak to, you know, reach those KOs in some situations where you might be 10 damage short, right? So it makes it so you only have to flip 1 heads instead of 2. A good example would be any Pokemon with 90 HP. Golduck is the first one that comes to mind, but there are plenty of Pokemon out there that sort of sit on that precipice, right? Giovanni, quite good in the list. Just to talk a little bit about the general flow of playing the deck, you know, you want to be attacking with Mankey ASAP, right? So if you go second, for example, let's say you open with the Cubone, ideally, X-speed onto the Cubone, retreat into the Mankey, and attach to it. Okay, and then on the turn following, you would evolve into Primeape and then start swinging with Primeape's attack. So, you know, quite ideal if you're able to pull that off. If we want to think about the mid-game, you know, maybe you knock something out with Primeape, or maybe you damage something to within, you know, only a little bit of HP left. I would strongly consider finishing off heavily damaged Pokemon with the second Mankey rather than going straight into your Marowak. Okay, Marowak is quite good as the Pokemon in the back. You know, you don't want to sort of expose it to danger if you can help it, but sometimes you also need to just take out an opponent's you know, big Pokemon. Let's say they spam Misty early and they've got an Articuno or a Lapras online. You really have to take care of it right before that Pokemon is able to sweep your board. Well, this is when Marowak comes in. Otherwise, if you have it your way, you would ideally like to force your opponent to have to deal with 2 Primeapes, and then with only 1 prize left to take, force them to go through the massive 140 HP on the Marowak. So, in the traditional Pokemon TCG, we would call that a 7 prize game. In Pocket, where, you know, it's 3 prize points to win, Marowak makes for a 4 prize game, because your opponent has to knock out a 2 prize Pokemon just to get their 1 remaining prize. So, in short, lead with the Mankey if you can, evolve into the Primeape as soon as you can, start wailing on them with the fight back damage boosted to 100 thanks to the damage that Mankey does to itself. In the mid game, you know, maybe if you get a chance to finish something off with Mankey, you get a chance to pre-damage it, and then your opponent has to choose between playing the Sabrina to do a bit of damage to your Marowak EX, or knocking out the Mankey for fear of it evolving into a Primeape, which can put out very consistent damage. You've got the Giovanni, you've got the Sabrinas. Don't forget the red card to disrupt an opponent's hand. Have a think about what your opponent might or might not have in hand based on the cards that they have or haven't been playing, and try your best to time the red card. Takes a bit of deductive reasoning and guesswork, but it can be quite effective. So look, I've got a game coming up for you. If you enjoy Pokemon TCG Pocket and seeing decks that are a little bit different, then please consider subscribing to me on YouTube, follow me on Twitch where I'm live multiple nights a week, and I'd love to see you there. Okay, I'll see you in the next live stream video, so take care. Goodbye. Cheers. Going second is good. I see lightning. I see lightning in the energy zone. We've got X-Speed. We've got Professor's Research. I'm feeling pretty good about next turn. Feeling pretty good. If I don't see a Magnemite, we're chilling. If we see a Magnemite, it's time to panic. Okay. Okay. Please. Poké Ball, Mankey. That's not good. Trying to be very deliberate with what I put on board. Should I be hedging against red card? If I don't play anything here, they might red card us. Okay. So, let's keep this in mind. We only want to bench one Mankey if we put Mankey down at all this game. And to be honest, it might be 0. It might just be a double Marowak game. There's red card, so I'm glad that I benched the Cubone. It essentially thinned the deck by 1. And hopefully increases the quality of the cards that we drew. So there's that Magnemite that I was worried about. And still am. They don't seem to be putting much stock into this Pikachu EX. Okay, they're going to retreat into Zapdos, I guess? Okay. Very sensible. But now they're sitting on a 2-card hand. So, Pokeball, we want to thin the deck. Right? Thin the deck. Go down Mankey. It's time for Professor's research. Let's see what we draw. Very interesting. So, there is every chance that they can't do more than just hit with Peck next turn. So, I'm down to run that Gambit. I'm down to run it. I'm not going to use the potion yet. Let's keep that up our sleeve. So, Reckless Charge with Mankey offers up the prospect of hitting with Primeape to clean up the KO, and then there's just 1 prize point left. So, and we've got double Sabrina. So I'm feeling good. Okay. Alright. Alright, alright. So now, it's Primeape. Then, it's Energy. Now, I have to consider... Double Potion here is bad because we want Primeape to be damaged. 80 HP, I don't think makes much of a difference against anything they can do. I can't quite remember off the top of my head how much damage Magneton does, but I'm sure they don't want to attack with Magneton. So... Oh, wait. Pikachu caps... Okay, no, we want to heal. Yeah. Pikachu will be capped at 60 damage if they don't have another Pokemon. Yeah, so we do this. Okay. Fight back. So, knock out the Zapdos. They need to find Magneton, Surge, and a basic Pokemon. So now that we're at 80 HP will survive a Circle Circuit if they manage to pull it off. And not have the basic Pokemon. So, I think that was the correct line to take. It sort of like, it built up as many barriers towards them knocking out the Primeape as possible.